We talk more than ever. We share more than ever. We've never been disconnected. So why do we feel so alone? We talk to people all day, at work, in group chats, through notifications that never really stop. There's always something lighting up, someone reacting, someone responding. On paper, it looks like connection. You can have 10 conversations in a single afternoon. Quick replies, voice notes, memes sent back and forth. You stay in contact, you stay updated. And yet, come the end of the day, it can still feel strangely empty. It's not that you're isolated. You're reachable, available, visible. But being reachable isn't the same as being known. And being visible isn't the same as being seen. Most interactions now are efficient, short, convenient, low effort. And that's not a bad thing. It saves time. It keeps life moving. But depth doesn't always survive efficiency. You can spend an entire day interacting without ever saying how you actually feel. You can reply, "I'm good," send a thumbs up, drop a quick joke here and there, and nobody pushes further. Not because they don't care, but because that's just how we communicate now. Sometimes at night I replay the day in my head and realize I interacted with so many people. And still, if someone asked me, "Did you have one real conversation today?" I'm not sure I could say yes. We grew up hearing that independence was the goal. Be self-sufficient. Be strong. Don't rely on anyone too much. Build your own life, you know. And for the most part, we did. Living alone, earning your own money, making your own decisions. No one telling you what to do. No one slowing you down. It feels like progress. Like you've unlocked something. But independence has another side. There's no one automatically there. No one who sees the small moments, the boring ones, the in-between ones. And those are the moments that used to build closeness. You handle things yourself. Bad day, you deal with it. Stress, you manage it. Small win, you keep it to yourself. Not because you have to, but because you can. And over time, "I can handle it" turns into "I handle everything." There's something subtle about that shift. When you stop needing people, you also stop reaching for them. Not intentionally, just gradually. And eventually, your life becomes very efficient, but slightly closed. Sometimes I wonder if we confused independence with isolation. If being capable slowly became being alone. Because there's a difference between choosing your own path and walking it without anyone beside you. There used to be more shared spaces in everyday life. Ordinary places where people crossed paths naturally. You didn't have to plan it, you just showed up. You saw the same faces regularly. Neighbors, co-workers in the same room. The barista who knew your order. Small repeated contact. Nothing deep at first. But repetition slowly turns into familiarity. And familiarity builds something. Now a lot of life happens privately. Work from home, food delivered, messages instead of visits. It's efficient, it saves time, but it removes the accidental parts of connection. The parts you didn't schedule. We don't bump into people as much. We don't linger as much. We don't wait as much. Everything moves quickly. And quick interactions rarely turn into lasting ones. Even friendships feel more planned. You schedule them. You coordinate calendars. You make time, which is good, but different. Because closeness used to grow inside daily life. Now it often exists outside of it. Sometimes I realize I don't even know my neighbors' names. We live meters apart, but our lives barely overlap, and that feels normal now. There's almost no empty space left in the day. If a moment slows down, we reach for something. A notification, a headline, a short video. Not because we have to, but because it's right there. Waiting in line doesn't feel like waiting anymore. Elevators are silent. Public transport is silent. Not because no one is there, but because everyone is somewhere else. Eyes down, headphones in, physically close but mentally distant. It's easier to consume than to reach out. Easier to scroll than to call. Easier to react than to speak honestly. None of it feels dramatic. It just slowly replaces the deeper moments we don't practice as much anymore. Connection takes effort. It takes vulnerability. It takes the risk of saying something real and not knowing how it will land. Stimulation doesn't ask for all that. It just keeps moving, and sometimes we move with it. And at the end of the day, after hours of noise and content and updates, you can still feel like no one actually stepped inside your world. Because information isn't intimacy, and activity isn't closeness. Modern loneliness doesn't look extreme. You're not isolated on a mountain. You're not cut off from the world. You have a job, maybe friends, maybe routines. From the outside, everything looks fine. You wake up, you go through your day, you answer messages, you show up where you're supposed to be. Nothing is collapsing, nothing is obviously missing. And that's what makes it harder to explain. Because loneliness now isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It's more like a background feeling, a subtle distance, like you're present in your own life, but slightly removed from it. It shows up in small moments, when something good happens and you instinctively reach for your phone, but don't know who to tell. Or when something feels heavy and you decide to just handle it yourself. Again. It shows up on Sundays, late afternoon, when the light starts to change and there's nowhere specific to be. The week hasn't started yet, but the day already feels finished, and the apartment feels still. And you wonder if this is just adulthood, if this is what stability feels like. Not unhappy, not fulfilled either, just steady and slightly distant. Maybe nothing is wrong with you. Maybe you're not socially failing. Maybe you're not doing adulthood incorrectly. Maybe you're just living in a time that makes independence easy and closeness harder. We learned how to function alone, how to manage alone, how to succeed alone. But we never really learned how to stay connected while doing all of that. And maybe that's the missing piece. Because connection doesn't grow automatically anymore. It doesn't just happen around us. It requires intention now. Awkward invitations, unplanned calls, staying a little longer in conversations instead of keeping them straight to the point. And that can feel uncomfortable, reaching out first, admitting you feel distant, saying something real instead of something easy. It's slower, but slower is usually where closeness lives. Maybe modern life isn't designed to make us lonely. Maybe it's just designed for speed, and anything that requires slowness gets pushed aside, including depth, including vulnerability, including the simple act of letting someone really see you. So maybe the question isn't, why do I feel lonely? But maybe it's, when was the last time I let someone get closer? Not through a screen, not through updates, but in a way that feels slightly exposed, slightly real. Modern life moves fast, but connection doesn't. And maybe that's the whole tension.